Have you tried manifesting and just feel like you're a failure at it? I can relate to that. So it might just be that you're making it too hard. So here's what I found some of the typical techniques that are really metaphysical are just too complicated. What I want us to do is review some real world things you can do in the physical to make it easier. Now, don't get me wrong, I love me some woo woo now, but we want to simplify this because if you're feeling like you don't know how to manifest, or you're a failure at it, or you're self conscious about it, then we need to work on this so that you can get what you want. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what it's about? If your experience manifesting has you feeling like you're unworthy, or you're doubting your ability to do it, or you think you aren't spiritual enough or evolved enough, what we're going to do today is simplify it. And the way we're going to do that is with three techniques that anyone can learn. Because the truth of the matter is, you have tremendous personal power to create. And that's what we're going to focus on today. Step one is to declare it. Now, everyone doesn't feel comfortable publicly declaring what they want to do. But one of the things I have found is that it can hold you accountable. So on my Threads account, at some point, I said, I'm going to start a YouTube channel because maybe somebody might ask, hey, what happened to that YouTube channel? And I didn't want to be completely embarrassed. But if that's not for you, that's really okay. But that's one of the things you can do. But what's really important is giving some thought to what you want so that you can start declaring it out loud. You need to review it daily and remind yourself of what it is that you want. One thing a manifestor needs is a manifesto. I didn't want to assume that I know what a manifesto is. And some of that comes from my father, who was the type of dad that when you asked what something meant, he said, go look it up. I had dictionaries and thesauruses and encyclopedias. And for you youngins, that was like Google in a book form. It was a set of like 25 big, thick books that you had in your home, if you could afford it. And I think my parents sold one kidney and one leg to be able to pay for those books. But the good thing is, it took me to the book, Google, to find out what is a manifesto. So let's review that. So, this is what Merriam Webster says a manifesto is. It's defined as, quote, a written statement declaring publicly the intentions, motives, or view of its issuer. In fact, I declared a manifesto on my first YouTube video. This is actually only my second video, but I had a vision for what I wanted for my channel. You have to create that vision so that you can attract it to you. And in the video, I said that I wanted to build community, that I wanted positive people. I want thoughtful people. I want like minded people. I want people who care about humanity, who have a desire for equality for all people. So it might look something like this. I'm kind of paraphrasing right now, but I do have it in written form. But just to kind of model what it looks like, what you're going to actually write down as your declaration. The Soulful Question YouTube channel is a community of like minded people who are thoughtful, who are positive, who believe in equality for all. And they use their creativity to create personal development in their lives. And studies show, this is their scientific evidence, that what we repeat out loud has tremendous power in our lives. So keep your mind focused on that thing you want. There was a goals study that Harvard University conducted 10 years after the 1953 MBA class graduated. And in the study, 3% of the graduates had written goals, 13% had unwritten goals, and the remaining 84% didn't have any goals at all. So here's what they discovered. I want to read this to you because I want to make sure I get this correct. The study revealed that the 13% that had unwritten goals earned an average of twice as much as those without any goals. But the 3% that had written goals earned 10 times as much as the other 97%, including those who had goals but didn't write them down. So, what's the lesson? Write it down, write it down, write it down. Just remember that step one is about speaking your manifestation into existence. That's what it's really about. I'm going to give you another example. I I'm a classic baby boomer, okay? Actually, I'm not a classic baby boomer because most people are not as behind the eight ball as I was. But I didn't get my first computer until somewhere around 2010. I wrote my first email in 2013, and that was only because I had signed up for my family's family reunion committee, and one of my jobs was to send emails. So, one of the things that's prevented me from doing certain things like YouTube and social media is that the only thing I've used computers for the most part, is searching the internet. I really felt like I was just not that bright. I don't think I'm unintelligent, but when it came to anything tech, I'm like, I don't get it. But a very wise coach by the name of Tree gave me a great lesson. Tree has gone on to the great beyond now, but she taught me something in a workshop. And she said, let's reframe that. You're a learner. So, in order to do this, I had to really step into myself as a learner. So, what did that look like to manifest becoming a learner, being a learner? I had to tell myself things like this: I'm a learner. And since I was born, I've learned, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of things, millions of things. I'm a learner. I learned how to tie my shoes. I learned the alphabet. I learned how to read. I learned how to walk. I've learned so many things in my life. I'm a learner. Millions of people have learned how to use computers, and I can learn too. So if I embrace my identity as a learner, I'm more likely to learn things instead of scare myself to death the way that I was doing previously. So, for a little review on step one, the key is to write it down and to also declare it daily out loud. Remember, where you place your focus is really the secret sauce of manifestation. And our second step, become it. You want to become it before you become it. I was a theater major, and in my basement, I still have my workbook from my first acting class, and it was called Being and Doing by Eric Morris. It's a pretty classic book. But what I find interesting is that the word be or being is or become is very common in the world of manifestation. And if you think about it, actors are manifesting people, they're manifesting characters, sometimes they're manifesting real life historical figures. And, Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, Her book title was Becoming. What you're doing is becoming your new identity now. So, part of the problem with human beings is that too often we create by default when we actually are really powerful creators. So, here's what I mean when I say creating by default. We are becoming and desiring things or thinking we desire things just out of habit or based on the standards of our society, uh, our teachers, our governments, our parents, our religions. So take some time to really consider what you want. I really applaud young people today because they're at least really giving some thought to, do I want to be married? Do I want to have children? So if they decide to do those things and become those things, it's not by default, it's by intention. Merriam Webster says that acting is the art or practice of representing a character. You are going to put on the costume of the character you want to become. So I can remember some years ago, I told somebody that I was an actress, and she said, "Oh, you want to be an actress?" I said, "No, I am an actress." So, probably in her mind, an actress was someone famous, an actress was someone that lives in New York or in LA. I was a woman living in Detroit, but I was a working actor doing commercials, hosting a very short lived TV show, doing industrial films and plays and a little bit of voiceover work and even a little bit of print work. But I stepped into that identity. I was an actress. And you know what? Before I even booked one gig, I was an actress because I said I was an actress. Step three, do it. You must perform the action associated with the thing. What's the thing? Actors act, learners learn, jugglers juggle, cooks cook, writers write. I could go on with this. You kind of get it, right? Let's see what good old Merriam Webster has to say. Manifest is defined this way, quote, to make evident or certain by showing or displaying. I also want to share this with you. Here are some synonyms of manifest: declare, demonstrate, show, communicate, display, expose, reveal, evidence. And I have a new vocabulary word, at least it was for me, events, spelled EVINCE. It's a verb and it means, quote, implies a showing by outward marks or signs. So you can't keep it to yourself. You have to show your work. You have to do it. And remember that all three steps work in tandem. What were the steps? One, declare it. Two, become it. Three, do it. You have to declare it in order to do it. You have to be it in order to do it. You have to do it in order to become it. Do you see what I'm saying? They all work together. There's a synergy between the three steps of manifestation. I really hope that these three simple, actionable steps will be something that you'll put in your toolbox to employ to manifest the life that you want. So, what I would really love is if you would declare it in the comments below. Let's cheer each other on. So I just want to thank you for stopping by. My name is Carissa Jones, and this is the Soulful Question. If you found this valuable, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. Thank you for stopping by.